Morning, children. It is nice to see you all back once again. Today, in our virtual class, we're going to learn a new poem. The new poem which you're going to learn is taken from the third unit given in your textbook. You can watch the poem displayed on your screen. And the third poem given to you in your textbook is All the World is a Stage, written by William Shakespeare. You can see the life cycle of a butterfly given in your introduction passage for this poem, like how a butterfly starts from being an egg, then transforming itself to a caterpillar, and then it attains the pupa stage, and finally it becomes a full-fledged butterfly. Likewise, even human life, in the journey of life, even we cross seven stages in the short span of our life in this world. That is what is discussed in this poem. Actually, this is a small extract from one of the most popular plays of William Shakespeare, As You Like It. So here, the phrase, all the world is a stage, is the beginning of a monologue. So monologue, no, that is mono single, log speech. So it is this particular character in As You Like It. It is spoken by the character to himself. From William Shakespeare's As You Like It. Uh, it is spoken by a character called Jacques in Act 2, Scene 7. There, he compares the world to a stage like a drama. He compare the world to a drama. In that, he'll say this world is like the stage there, and life, the life which you're living, to the play, the drama scenes which are happening, and catalogs the seven stages of man's life. How we change our characters, no, in a drama. Likewise, no, we change according to the stages of our life. This is one of Shakespeare's most frequently quoted passages. Whenever they talk about Shakespeare, there are so many things to talk about William Shakespeare. One of the most prominent person to have made, to written many books in English literature. There are so many things which are spoken about William Shakespeare and his works, and one of the most prominent thing is this particular passage, which is taken from As You Like It. So before we learn the poem in detail, let us just have an introduction about the author. Though you would have learned about William Shakespeare and you would have known about him, just a few more informations just to recollect. So you can take the next passage. You can see the author's note given here in page number 90. So William Shakespeare was a prolific writer during the Elizabethan and Jacobean ages of British theatre, sometimes called the English Renaissance, the rebirth of English literature, we can say. Shakespeare's plays are perhaps his most enduring legacy, but they are not the only things he wrote. He's also is very popular for his dramas, 37 dramas he has written, but he's not popular only for that. Shakespeare's poems remain popular to this day. Shakespeare's rich and diverse works have spawned countless adaptations across multiple genres and cultures. His writings have been compiled in various repetition of the complete works of William Shakespeare, which include all his plays, sonnets, and other poems. William Shakespeare continues to be one of the most important literary figures of the English language, no doubt about that. Once you have been learning about learning English language for so many years, definitely you would have known more about William Shakespeare and his work. So now you would have recollected a few things which you learned about William Shakespeare. Now we'll try to learn the poem, or the message which William Shakespeare is trying to address in this poem, and also we'll try to see what Jacques was trying to tell as his monologue in the play. Okay. So first listen to the reading of the complete poem, then read silently and get to know what Shakespeare says about the different stages in the life of man. You may refer to the glossary given at the end of the monologue to help you. So whenever meanings are you for better understanding, we can refer the glossary, because in the glossary explanation for certain passages has been given. Okay. Now let me read it once for you, and then let me explain it to you. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely plays. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then, the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwilling to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like a pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, with good capon lined, with eyes severe, and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon. The second stanza. His spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful horse well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble pipes, and whistles in a sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. So this is the poem. I think while I read the poem, you would have most probably would have understood what Shakespeare tries to say and what are all the 7 stages he's trying to show in this poem. So let us go stage by stage. The first one, all the world is a stage. So here William Shakespeare says through Jacques in that play, all the world is a stage. Now sometimes our life itself is like a dream. Now, suddenly in a dream so many things happen. Suddenly you wake up from the dream, everything is over like that. As we are living, we have so many ambitions, we want to fulfill those dreams. The moment we die, everything is left uncompleted. So it is like a dream. So all the world is a stage. Our world is the world which we are living. It is like a stage, and all the men and women merely players. And what is our role? Is we are all performing. We are all given. We are all actors. We are all given a role to act on the stage. The name of the stage is world, and all the men and women are merely players. All are actors. They have their exits and their entrances. No, like how one character finishes its acting on the stage and it will have its exits, and another character will enter. Like that only life. One is born, and after your role is over, you exit, you die. So that is what is this life, William Shakespeare says. And one man in his time plays many parts. Here, in the character which we are doing, one character does many things in its acting. He plays many performance. One character does many performance in the short span of life in this world. For Shakespeare says many parts, his acts being 7 ages. So he almost does 7 different performance as an actor. Shakespeare says his acts being 7 ages. Now, at first, how does he enter? How does he perform? At first, the infant, a small baby, the first stage, the baby is born. So what does the baby do? Mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Mewling, no, a noise which a cat makes. Mewling. That's what a baby also makes, that sound, mewling, and puking, vomiting, whatever it eats. That's what you would have seen an infant doing. So that is the first stage which every man does. That's how he enters into that state. At first, the infant mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwilling to school. And the second stage, of course, is the stage where the boy grows up and he starts going to school. Now, then the whining schoolboy, whining means unwilling, expressing unhappiness. No, you would have not seen any child going to school very happy. So that is the second stage here. Unwillingly, the boy goes to school with his satchel with the school bag, and shining morning face. Early in the morning, you would have seen a small child's face going to school. No, it will be shining and creeping like snail. And creeping means slowly moving. How a snail moves very slowly, like that it will be snailing, because it is not having that willingness to go to school. So it is creeping and going, creeping like snail, unwilling to school. Unwillingly, it will be going to school. That is what is the second stage. First is the infant, and second one, becoming a small boy and going to school. Then the third one being a lover, falling in love. That's the third stage. Sighing like a furnace. This particular stage, you can see the boy, or for the girl, for example, we take a man as an example. So he'll be like a furnace, always in anger. In that this particular stage, he'll be sighing like furnace. No, in the furnace, you would have seen the fire. No, how hot and hot waves come from that fire. Like that, he'll be like a furnace with a woeful ballad. And another thing, what he does is woeful, unhappy ballad. He'll always sing sad song made to his mistress eyebrow. Always thinking about the girl, is about his girlfriend, about his lover. He'll always be writing sad poems about his mistress, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress eyebrow. That is what is the third stage. And the fourth stage is a soldier. Those days, no, for employment or for work, people become soldiers. Nowadays, if you want to compare it with today's world, you can say going for job, going for work. And when he becomes a soldier, in this particular stage, so many changes happens in him, full of strange oaths. He gives full of strange oaths, means promises, gives many promises which might be very impossible, which he himself knows it is impossible, but he is not worried about giving many false promises. And bearded like a pard, and like a pard here means leopard, and he'll be bearded like a leopard. He wants to show that he is very courageous, he is very brave. Jealous in honor, he is very jealous in honor, that he wants to be a very good man, he wants to be appreciated by everybody. He'll be very jealous that everybody should appreciate me, I should be the best person. He'll be jealous in honor. Sudden and quick in quarrel, and at that particular age he'll be very quick in quarreling, very violent quarrel he'll be making, because he wants to prove that he is always right. Seeking the bubble reputation. Here, seeking the bubble reputation means, say, like a bubble can stay for only a short time. The bubble will burst very soon. Likewise, this stage, for one small glory, for one small appreciation, he will try as many things as possible. Seeking bubble reputation for a short-lived glory. Nobody is going to remember the achievements which you made forever. Maybe a day or two only people will appreciate you and remember. For that particular part, he will be fighting like anything. And reputation, even in the cannon's mouth, to be glorified and to be honored, he will be ready even to go and stand in the mouth of a gun. Cannon, isn't it a big gun where huge bombs and all can go out from that cannon. He'll be ready to stand in the mouth of the gun also. That is the stage of this soldier. That's the fourth stage, of course. And then the fifth stage is and then the justice. The fifth stage is the justice. Almost he would have been finished his middle age, and this stage, when he becomes justice, he'll almost be in his retiring age, almost closer to retirement. Then the justice. He'll in fair round belly with good cap and line. He'll always have a very big belly around. Cap and line means a man who will be, so he'll become very fat by having, at that age, particular age, he'll be eating more chicken. That's what he will say. In Shakespeare also will say he will be eating more, and he'll be having a big fat belly like a lion. It will be there. That is the fifth stage where he'll be. Here, like a justice, his eyes severe. His eyes will be very severe. That is, it will not have any kind of pity at all. It will be very severe, and beard of formal cut, and he'll be having beard of formal, very decent beard he'll be have full. And what does he do in this particular stage, this justice? Full of wise saws means sayings. Always he'll keep telling wise thoughts. See, this is what is the world, this is what is life. He keeps on speaking all these things. And modern instances, so full of wise sayings and modern instances. He'll always take examples of the modern life, and he keeps talking like this. And so he plays his part, and this is the part he plays. That is the fifth stage. And the sixth stage shifts into a lean and slippered pantaloon. So lean and slippered pantaloon here means he'll become a thin old man, beginning of old age. He'll be like he'll become very thin, he'll become very old, and he will almost lose all his muscles, or all the briskness, shininess in his face, everything will go down. That's the beginning of old age. And let's see what happened in the last two stages in the second stanza. At this particular stage, in the sixth stage, with spectacles on nose. He'll wear spectacles on nose, on pouch on his side, a small bag for carrying money. He'll have the pouch on his side. He'll be wearing spectacles. His youthful hose here means thin trousers, very thin trousers, which is youthful hose. Now some thin trousers which he used during youthful days, if he had kept all those trousers safely, he can use it now. Now it is going in reverse. Now he's coming back. His youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his trunk shank. If at all he has kept all the trousers which he used in his youthful days, that will be very useful for him to wear now. It will be fitting him correctly. A world too wide, the world might be much be too big for his trunk shank. Now, after traveling all this distance, now that will be correct for his trunk shank. Trunk shank means the legs which has become very thin. For that is all these thin pants which he was wearing in his youthful days will be can be used now. And his big manly voice, there that voice will change. Already generally you'll be having manly voice, but at that time the manly voice will a little bit of sweetness will be left in that manly voice. That will be completely lost. Now very big manly voice. Who's there? Come here and take. So such kind of voice you can hear from them. Turning again toward childish treble pipes, like how the voice changed, no, when you attained the teenage, how your voice changes. Likewise, here all these voices are going back. Now it becomes more manly and whistles in his sound. Whenever he speaks in this particular stage, he will be going back to childhood days. The voice which he was doing, and whenever he speaks, more whistling sound can be heard, because the tongue, he might have lost a few of his teeth, he might have lost a few of his consciousness, thought, everything, and so most of the time he can't pronounce properly also. So there will be so much of whistling in his sound, and that is the sixth stage. And finally the last stage, the last scene of all, that ends this strange eventful history, is second childishness. And finally he'll become a child again. He started himself as a child, and he'll end his life also as a child. His second childishness and mere oblivion. Mere oblivion is a stage where oblivion is a stage where you won't know what is happening around you. You may not know, even if somebody praises you, you may not understand, appreciates you, you may not know, or somebody criticizes you also, you will not know. That is second childishness. Again, you go back to where you came from. That is the last stage of your life. Mere oblivion. Sans teeth. Sans means without teeth. Sans eyes. Without eye vision. Sans taste. You can't taste anything, and sans everything. Everything becomes sans. Everything becomes that is unobservable for you. So these are the 7 stages which William Shakespeare says every man performs on the stage called world. I hope all of you will agree with this, and this is something which you would have learned somewhere. This quote of Shakespeare would have come across. I hope you all love the message which Shakespeare has been sharing, and as human beings, nobody can escape from the rules and regulations of each stage which has been given to us. Well, children, I hope this poem would have been very interesting for you. Now I would like to point out a few figures of speech which we came across while learning this poem. The first line of the poem, all the world is a stage. So there is a figures of speech, that is a metaphor. There is a comparison, but it's not compared like the world as a stage. That's metaphor. And all the men and women mere players. So the second line, that is also there is another figures of speech, that is metaphor. And you can see in the same stanza, and shining morning face creeping like snail. And you can see here, and shining morning face creeping like snail. Here, like snail, the comparison is like. So when you compare something like comparison, then it is simile. And the next to follow, seeking the bubbled reputation. There you can see seeking the bubbled reputation. That is a metaphor, because again the comparison is as. And the next, when you go across, you can see his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble. So that is another metaphor. So these are the important figures of speech here. Of course, there are many alliterations. Of course, you can find out what are the alliterations. As you all know, an alliteration is something where in a line, repetition of sound. That is, the first letter should be repeated, and the first letter should be a consonant sound. So that is what is an alliteration. So you can see many alliteration in this poem as well. So well, I hope you would have understood this poem. And what I want you all to do is, I want you all to summarize the poem which you have learned today, and write it in your summary notebook and post the summary to the group. Well, children, it's nice to see you all with a new poem. I'll meet you all once again with yet another topic. Until then, this is your English master, Saravana Chandar, signing off. Goodbye.